One time for the one time. It's the family bloodline.
Just in time. What's good, family? How's everybody doing? Rich, what's going on, bro?
How are you? I'm
I'm
good.
yeah, I'm doing all right, man. Just living, and working it all out. Working it all out. That's all I can. That's all I can say and lay claim to right now.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Absolutely, I agree. I agree. How's your day been so far?
It's been okay. It's been okay. How about
I,
yourself?
I can't complain. Busy day today, but that
Oh
part's
yeah.
over. Yeah, and looking forward to tomorrow. Today was a success,
Oh yeah. What
and
happened today?
I got students in right now, and we were pretty far behind in our curriculum, and just strategizing, coming together as a team to get out of that hole because we have our first test tomorrow, and there's a lot of course material that we have to cover in order to properly administer the test. So
Mhm.
we uh we had
This
to
is in the
push.
army. This is in the
Yeah,
army.
yeah,
This is in the army.
yeah, yeah. I'm a certified instructor. Certified instructor, and I absolutely love it. It's been my favorite duty station so far, to be honest with you.
Wow. This
Yeah,
is in Kentucky.
yep,
Okay.
yeah. And so I absolutely love it. I love it. I kind of wish I would have had uh this job a bit earlier,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm still happy that I'm able to do it now. Influence is a big part of being successful in any field you go in, and
Right.
I'm on my way out, but the amount of influence I've been able to actually give back and and assist the field with has been absolutely amazing.
So
Absolutely amazing.
are they going to try to give you a civilian job once you retire, or?
Oh, I don't know if I'm ready for all that. I need some space. My relationship with the army. Just because it's good right now, don't mean it's always been that way. I can
I
tell
hear
you
you.
that.
I hear you. I hear
Yeah,
you.
we can both settle on an amicable departure.
I
So
hear you.
yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. That's what I'm looking forward to. So
Well, it sounds like you're having fun. Usually, when you're on your way out, that's when you have the most fun.
absolutely, absolutely, and that's where I am with it right now. That's where I am with it. So
Mm,
no Deuce tonight. He is in the area, unfortunately.
okay.
Um, yeah, him and his team. He was going to be over tonight, but him and his team they got caught up in a bit of a project, and they're gonna be on it late. So
So is he still in the army, or did he get out? Was he in the Navy, or
no, he's still in. He's still in. He works at my hire.
so
He
he's in the
works at
army?
yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah. So, but he'll probably be on for tomorrow night's live. We'll see. I'll talk
Oh,
to him.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
he might be over. He might be over. So,
Mm, okay.
but outside of that, yeah, just pushing. Excited and doing something that I finally love doing. You know, that's the truth about it. That's the truth about it. So,
Teaching.
yeah, oddly enough, I didn't think or know that I would like or enjoy teaching as much as I do. Oh my goodness. It's wonderful.
Hmm.
It's wonderful.
Hmm.
It really is. So,
Oh, boy.
yeah. Yeah, that's where I am with it all.
Yeah. Well, that's fun. I mean, you're teaching I guess these are younger people in their like late teens, early 20s.
No, it's everybody.
Is
So
that
I'm teaching. Yeah, I'm instructing other senior level NCOs and junior officers. So we have anything anywhere from captains down to E4, E2s in our class.
Is this in person?
Yeah, it's all residential. Yeah,
Okay.
it's
And what are you
all
teaching them? Just the military training stuff or?
logistics.
Oh, okay.
Logistics. I'm teaching unit level logistics, the foundational aspect of it all.
Okay.
So yeah, and also instructing the technical piece, the SAP system that we use.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a blast. I got a great team, and it makes it all fun. Makes it all worthwhile.
Huh.
Yeah, so logistics is my thing. I've been doing it ever since I've been in the Army.
Oh, you've been doing logistics ever since you've been in the Army.
Mm-hmm. Up until a year ago. When I transitioned into an instructor.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. And so, but tonight's topic, the TikTok ban, the impeding ban that's supposed to take place January 19th. It's supposed to take place January 19th. It was litigated earlier this year. Well, thank you, Sugar. One of the best the Army has. I'm gonna highlight that because I appreciate it. So the courts ruled that if TikTok wasn't going to sell, essentially not TikTok, it's ByteDance is the
Right.
parent company, right? They're the parent company of TikTok, and it's a Chinese-owned company with servers, however, that serve the American population in the United States, but still owned by a Chinese company. And that became a bit of an issue during the court crusades, as it were, for TikTok to be able to remain open in the United States, the way that it is right now. The ruling is that if it doesn't sell off, if ByteDance doesn't sell off TikTok essentially to I'm guessing an American investor or an American corporation, then they will ban the actual app. Go ahead.
What I saw was they won't. You'll still have access to the app, but they're going to make sure that the internet provider cannot give you access to use TikTok. That's how I read it. That you'll still have the TikTok app, but the internet provider
Sure.
won't be able to provide it to you. Yeah.
Right. And a lot of that has to do with the segues, the footprints that are made because of TikTok to other, I guess you can call them vulnerabilities, other foreign vulnerabilities, especially since China is an adversary.
Right.
And in that regard, I do not disagree.
Okay.
I performed, so I participated in RIMPAC some years ago, the biggest war game that in the world, right? Across like multiple different nations and countries that are a part of this actual wargaming process. And during that process, we did have Chinese counterparts who were there. And I actually told the story earlier in class this morning, and we could not have our laptops open at all around them. Although we weren't working. I wasn't working on any classified documentation or anything of high level risk, but because of the way the Chinese. I don't really want to call them operatives because that gives them too much power. But
Okay.
but for all intents and purposes, I'll call them all operatives right now because of the way they actually interact with taking stealing information. They don't need much. They don't need much. They'll go through trash. They had to be watched in quarantine very closely and supervised very closely, each and every last one of them, because of the potential risk that was involved with them working with us and their ability and their determination to take and steal information. And not just that, but use it to further footprints in other areas and aspects. Take, for instance, the biggest hack we recently went through, right? We just had a huge hack between, and it's between Android and iPhones, to where the messages sent between were able to be hacked, and people have been able to actually go through and read messages and get information and piece together stories for individuals, regardless of where and who you are. And that's all it takes, is a little bit to get a lot. And they fit these small pieces of information together and they exploit it. You know, that's what adversaries do. They exploit your vulnerabilities. And so because of things like that, we had to keep our laptops closed. We couldn't open them up. When we worked, we had to make sure we were on secure VPNs, out of sight, out of the area, so that there was no room for error or margin for our work to be leaked. Hey, what's going on, my brother? To our adversaries. Now, again, I wasn't working on I wasn't working on highly classified information, but I was still working on for official use only information. And if they would have been able to gather the information that I had, it would have exposed our complete logistical footprint: manpower, vehicles, weapons, other types of equipment, radio sets, so on and so forth. Major equipment that we use in order to actually perform our missions. And they can get a good gauge on what we're using. And because if they know our capabilities, they can figure out how to defeat that also. And that becomes an issue in the event we do have a head-to-head war, right? So from that aspect, I can absolutely understand why the move to ban TikTok, or at least quarantine it to where we know we're safe with our information. I can understand where that comes from. Absolutely understand that. So what do you think?
I don't know.
What?
Yeah, that's why I was like, "Where's your friend at?"
Yeah.
You're asking me to believe what the military and the government's telling me about our number two enemy, China.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, because if we had something over there, well, they wouldn't even allow us over there if anything that we wanted to do on a social media. They would control their airspace. But we call ourselves the land of the free, and we said, First Amendment is so important. But yet, when I look up on this, the judge said that the First Amendment wasn't being violated because national security, as you were stating, trumps that. But some people would say, well, 9/11, we lost all of our rights after 9/11 with the Patriot Act. So is this another situation where, we're not going to allow someone in our airspace because we claim that it's national security? So every time the U.S. government says, oh, for national security, we have to do this, we have to do that, the question comes down to, do we believe everything we hear about national security? I don't know.
Okay, I think that's a valid perspective. The only pushback I would give to that is we're in very similar. I somewhat agree with 9/11, the overexploitation of the Patriot Act and being able to do things under the guise of national security. The difference is, and this might be a bit anecdotal on my part, is I do know that they absolutely will go through all measures to get information, to get some type of upper hand, right? It's not a guess at all, and I think we are with this app. If we aren't controlling it directly, we do risk. We absolutely do risk uh, being vulnerable. Take for instance, right? Let's take for instance what happened in the country of Georgia, not the state. There was a far right leaning candidate that was running for their presidency, as it were. And because of the assistance of TikTok and the ability for them to push and promote misinformation, that candidate won by a landslide. By a landslide. With that being said, President-elect Trump, at one point, he's actually changed his position on TikTok because previously he wanted the ban also. However, since this is my guess. However, since they saw the potential of pushing misinformation out to a vast amount of people in a short amount of time, well, his position has begun to change. So the influence that this app, that TikTok, because I'm on TikTok, I'm live right now on TikTok, but the influence that it can have on the average person is absolutely uncanny. Notwithstanding, right? Just because there is a huge ability to do evil doesn't mean that there's not an equal amount ability to do good, right? I think this is my personal conspiracy theory, but I think because the platform does allow for both misinformation and actual information, it's still either way, it's a threat to any government agency because they can't
So,
control the propaganda. Go ahead.
so okay. Now I'm waking up a little bit because this is why I said I didn't know. Facebook is American owned, Mr. Zuckerberg. And he wasn't the first person to have that idea. Somebody else had the idea, but he took off with it and made it work. He was accused of censoring conservative views years ago. And then within the last year, he's admitted it. So Instagram, Twitter was so bad on, if you didn't support COVID, if you say anything against COVID, you would get hammered by Twitter until Elon Musk took over. And YouTube, that's the other one. I remember saying something about, I didn't really believe everything about COVID. And they told me on YouTube, I said that again, they would ban me for a period of time. So this idea that these American companies.
Oh, it looks like his internet dropped. So until he comes back on, this is what I'll read a comment from Smart Dollar Moves on TikTok. He said, "We just have to protect ourselves. If it's real or fake news, it's better to prevent than to react." And there is a bit of agreement that I have with that. However, I think that's still a bit of a slippery slope, right? And the reason why I say that is because do you want to take preventative measures in so far that we begin to violate or we lose our First Amendment? What is the restriction of the freedom of press look like? The censorship become, and it begins to become more of a fear-based and a fear-mongering campaign than what it is preventive or protective measures. And that's what I think about it. Hey, what's going on, Cuzzo? That's what I fear about it. Unfortunately, it like Richard was saying, it is absolutely hard to trust our government directly when it says it's simply trying to protect us. Because oftentimes that ends up being turned into a form of abuse and restriction to the point of losing rights. Take Roe v. Wade, right? First off, they said that they wouldn't do it. So, and then we found out that was a lie, and it was done and quote unquote given back to the states. Well, depending on the state that you live in, there are very rigorous time frames of quote unquote protection, right? And that's where I begin to have to kind of draw the line and separate myself from the thought that our government always has the best interest of the people at heart. And another reason why I say that is because I totally understand that a lot of our government officials are capitalistic driven, right? They're driven by money. They're driven by greed. Let's make no mistake about it. We don't have our brightest people. Oh, you got Franz on. Yeah, I
Listen,
know you. You're
I was
good.
like,
You're
where?
good.
I had you on Facebook and I was trying to follow you because you froze up.
Oh,
So
okay.
when I said about, TikTok was really the same as YouTube and Facebook, they both try to get influence on you, except TikTok is foreign owned. And then you started saying something about the US government.
Oh, okay. Let me read this comment again off of TikTok by Smart Dollar Moves. It said, I agree 100%. My take is not to harm consumers, but demand restrictions from other countries having
Okay.
access to hacks or something. Now that, my brother, I can jump on. I can absolutely agree with. I think it is in America's best interest to actually to have restrictions on social media companies that are foreign owned. I do. Do we need the same for American owned social media companies? Absolutely. Absolutely. The difference is American owned companies enjoy the full benefits of American owned companies. That's the honest truth about it. If you're a foreign adversary, we got to treat you like a foreign adversary. I'm not about to say, hey, if you're not my family and you like, if I make a ton of food and it's primarily for my family, right? And I'm giving it to my family the way I see fit, that they should have their portion, right? And everybody's eating, some better than others and some worse, but everybody's eating somewhat. And now I got a stranger saying, hey, can I have some food? Well, I'm gonna cut a rib, one bone off the slab of ribs and be like, this is your take. Yes, you can have something. There you go. Because it's my rules. I dictate that. That's how I want to govern my place, my food.
So, all right. Now, when Donald Trump, President-elect Trump, does these tariffs and all the prices, if they go up, I don't know if they're going to go up or go down or stay the same. I don't know, because economics is not a true science.
Agreed.
But when he puts all those tariffs on China, because we're controlling our airspace, we're controlling our goods. Because my question is, if you feel that strongly about China's influence, then why are you importing other goods for? Why not bring those jobs back to America and make our stuff American made right here in our country? We won't have no unemployment. See,
I agree. So first off, let me say this. This is capitalism. Somebody's going to be homeless. Make no mistake about it. Capitalism takes no direct care, influence driven want or desire of morals or scruples whatsoever. Right? Somebody's going to be homeless in capitalism. Somebody's got to win and somebody's got to lose in order for it to work. That is capitalism through and through.
No, it's not. I disagree.
Why not?
Capitalism is about business. And they say good business, both parties come away with a good feeling. That's good business. When you use capitalism in this negative manner, you walk away the winner and I walk away the loser. That's not good capitalism. That's negative capitalism. But good capitalism, which I thought we were building our country on. But if you push back and say, well, they enslaved Africans and got free labor to help build the country, that was bad capitalism.
And so my question to you would be, what form of capitalism is American practicing?
I would say they practice capitalism with a little bit of socialism.
Absolutely. But given your example, good capitalism and bad capitalism, which form is America practicing? Personally, I think we practice bad capitalism more times than not, and more often than not.
Depending on your religious views, I would say yes. Listen, when we talk about this, about capitalism, your money is being printed out of thin air, and yet your taxes are used to pay the interest back on this money that was printed out of thin air by a private organization.
Yep.
That's a cartel.
Listen, you will have. I got no pushback on that. Look, I agree with you.
When we go after China over this TikTok, because somehow China figured out a way to get inside our heads outside of their imports. That was a good business move on their part. So then we say, well, no, we don't want you over here. But yeah, we want to tell the whole world how free we are. But then we say, well, we're free and we want everybody to come to our country legally. And our First Amendment is our most important First Amendment, because that's why it's the First Amendment. But yet, for national security, to protect our way of life, we can't have you over here, China. But if you really had a great way of life, nobody could come and take from you if you were really standing strong on your structure, on your way of life. They couldn't come and put in division. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
The operative word that you use right there is if.
Okay.
If, right? And the truth is, we're not. Right. So here's my thing with the tariffs that President-elect Trump wants to impose. Are tariffs always a bad thing? Absolutely not. They aren't. However, because America is so tied into global economics, if we are going to do, if it's going to be 100% American manufacturing, 100% American homegrown, 100% American economics, well, then we have to phase it out. We have to phase it out. It can't be dumped on us. We don't have the machinery or the manufacturing capable to support what we do. Again, Mexico import 70% avocados at the very least. Again, even with Canada, when you go to lumber and cement, just take those two. We can't support our agriculture, our agricultural needs by ourselves right now. But over a course of 10, 15 years, if we begin to implement the proper processes and increase the tariffs on these other products, well, then we can get there. But trying to do it in the course of a few months, that's an impossible ask. We suffer.
I don't think so. I don't think so. And a lot of people in America who voted for Donald Trump don't think so.
Well, then not convince me, but tell me why you don't think so.
Well, when we could put a person on the moon, which that took time, but it goes back to your money. When the United States government says we're going to send billions upon billions to help Ukraine, whether it's right or whether it's wrong, doesn't matter. We send billions. We send billions to Israel. They don't think twice. But when it comes to taking care of its own people, then they say, well, we can't afford that. That's a lie. That's a lie financially, and that's a lie righteously. Because your money is not backed by anything. So you can print up as much as you want. And when they say, well, if you print up too much, you'll devalue the dollar. How do you know that? Well, who's gonna come and make us pay that debt that we owe them? Are they gonna send their military over to this country and come get us? No, that's not happening. So
yeah, that's a. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was about to say, but that begins to become a might makes right clause. But what I'm saying is, because American economics is so tied into, and you can blame NAFTA, you can blame any other treaties that began to ship American jobs out. You can blame any of that you want to, and you would probably be right. What I'm saying is, presently, regardless of the amount of money that we have, we can't overnight or in the span of 4 to 5 months put up a manufacturing plant for chips, computer chips alone, because we don't have the lithium here, right? We don't have all the precious metals that we need. We don't have the know-how, and we don't have the capacity of know-how in order to perform these things.
So I would go and say, no, we have the know-how. Now, when you said 100%, no, I'm not trying to be 100% independent, but we can be about 75 to 80. Now, some of that stuff we need from Africa, excuse me, some of the things we need from Africa, we got to have until we figure out a way to create it differently. Now, America's always led the way across the world. Here's where capitalism is at its best. If you can create a way to do something without having to go across the ocean, you're off to the races. Because Elon Musk said, I don't need NASA. I'll figure out my own way to get up to space.
Yeah.
It comes down to money. Everything usually comes down to money.
And that's why I don't think the TikTok ban is going to go through the way they're trying to push it. Right? If you take the TikTok shop that came out in 2023 and you look at the commerce that's come through that the money that it's generated, we're talking about billions. By 2027, it's going to be multi-billions.
So here's the hypocrisy of American capitalism. Here's the hypocrisy that's been there from the very beginning. We don't want your TikTok over here unless we own it and control it.
Yeah.
That sounds like manifest destiny in a sense.
Oh, in a sense, nothing. That's absolutely what it is. That's digital colonization, baby. That's what that is.
Well, what I'm saying is, if you say TikTok is that vital or that detrimental to our national interests, then get rid of it altogether. We don't want you over here, regardless of who owns it. But you don't want to do that. You want to own it so you can profit off of it. No, and that's why it doesn't sit quite well with me.
Yeah,
I mean, so you say for national interest, and as soon as you say national interest, everybody's ears perked up. Not to get sidetracked. When Donald Trump said about shutting down the border, when Holman was on an interview a couple of days ago, he said the drug cartels in Mexico, in his mind, are a terrorist organization, and we should use our U.S. military to stop all those drugs from coming into the country. I laughed. You know why I laughed? Because that's all you had to tell Black America, and you got their votes just like that.
It's dog whistling. That's all that is.
He said it. For national security, they're a terrorist organization. So since you're already saying that China is our second largest enemy, we don't want TikTok over here unless we own it. No, if you don't want TikTok, then get rid of it altogether. And
I'm okay with getting rid of TikTok altogether.
They want the money. You said it. They want the money.
Yeah.
Well, then you're not being sincere about national interest.
Oh no, they're really ever being sincere about national interest. If they were sincere about national interest, we would have fixed our homeless issue already. That's the honest truth about it. That's the honest truth. It's about a bottom dollar, and the bottom dollar is I'm looking at numbers saying that sales are projected to more than double to 144.5 billion by 2027. Of course they won't. 144.5 billion.
144.5 billion?
5 billion by 2027. By 20 TikTok shop. Yes. The emergence of TikTok shop is what I think personally began to spin these jokers into a tizzy. Now I know they're not doing it for national security, right? Now, me personally, I hate saying that phrase because if I'm already saying me, it is personally, but it's redundancy. But personally, I do understand I do understand the national security aspect of it. That's just me because of my profession. Do they really care about that? No, they don't really care about that. I'm telling you that what they care about are the projections for 2027. In 2023, they were caring about the projections of 2024 and how much money is going out of America, right? It really and honestly truly is a competition of dollars between China and America.
Yeah,
it is. That's part of what it comes down to. If let's take the tariffs into consideration, right? If we properly place the tariffs, let's say, and again, I think tariffs would have to be phased, and I explained this to Maya the other day. If we did, right, if we lower tariffs for Mexico and Canada, we can raise tariffs for China. Right. We can even it out. We can begin to plant avocado. We can bring our agriculture industry up. We can make people smarter. We can promote. We can propagandize working in the agriculture industry, and we can get it booming in about 4 or 5 years. It's going to take a while for crops to grow. It's going to take a while to make the deals to get the land. Right. Now, again, I'm just using avocados as a very easy point of insertion. All right. But we could do that. Give it 4 or 5 years and we could control that. And then we can bring the pressure up on that tariff while maintaining a tariff on China. Now, Once we get that, we raise the tariffs up on avocados a little bit. We begin to decrease the tariffs on some Chinese products so that, again, we can make ourselves smarter within the next 5 to 10 years, have a plan and a strategy to push and propagandize people going into these industries so that we can get the materials. Again, we're going to have the materials, so we have to decrease the tariffs on Canada in those areas a little more, right? That gives a little leeway, a little push and pull in order to strategize how to build the infrastructure for this, because now since you're going to have these jobs available, well, you've got to have the roadways, you got to have the systems in order to get there. You've got to build the houses because you're going to have population booms in certain areas where those industries are bigger. But doing it at one fell swoop, it's not a good look. If we decided to put tariffs, I don't know how we would do this. This is just purely hypothetical. If we decided to put tariffs on TikTok, on the amount of bandwidth TikTok is allowed on our platforms through our media to come in, I think we'll be okay. And we can continue.
I don't think it even matters. I keep going back to the money. When people say about, oh, we have problems here, we have problems there, but you don't have no problem sending billions over to Ukraine, and they figure it out. So I don't, I'm always told, well, we can't do. That's not, when the British or the English settlers came to America, they were told what they couldn't do. But you can't, when you look at, what we can't do versus what we can do, what we put our minds to doing. So when I hear everyone say that, and it's well thought out, like you said, it's well thought out. But to me, it goes back to the money. If you can print money out of thin air, you can make anything happen. And here's the thing. Printing money out of thin air is one thing. Printing money out of thin air to where the other countries accept it, that's another thing.
Whole other thing.
But who's going to say we don't want American money? Nobody. Because of the status and the legacy of America from way back when. So we've been at this thing called capitalism for a long time. And for another currency to say we're going to replace you, China, you're not replacing us. Russia, you're not replacing us. Because you got to look at how we started. Yeah, we had some evil things in our foundation, and we had some good things. Now somehow they've had to, come together to keep it going. And the other countries are betting that eventually our foundation will cause us to crumble because how we started. Maybe they're right. Maybe. Because they keep saying that we're at the end of our empire. But, Rome had 2 different empires. So I don't know.
Give me a second. I gotta respond to this question Wanda asked on Facebook.
Okay.
She said, totally unrelated question. Do y'all require your woman to shave in the winter? Laughing, but very serious. And my response is, my lady can do whatever she wants. It's her body, her choice. It ain't gonna stop no show. I can tell you that. I can 100% guarantee that. If she don't want to shave, cool. Be a little warmer with your body hair. It ain't gonna stop me. I'll move clothing to the side.
I've never had to worry about that. So.
Yeah, that's not been my concern. If do what she want to do, I'm gonna find her amazing and beautiful and sexy and intelligent and loving. I'm gonna find all of that, regardless. So if she don't want to do her hair, that ain't gonna bother me none.
Do you require her to shave in the winter?
Not at all.
Oh,
not at all. But so currently the TikTok lawyers are pushing for a ruling from the Supreme Court. Now, if it gets to the Supreme Court, if they get their hands on it, right on one. If they get their hands on it, TikTok will be fine. TikTok will be fine. Again, President-elect has changed his mind, and SCOTUS is going to bend to the will of the president right now. He's the one that put not most of them, but it's a right-leaning Supreme Court.
Yep.
And so he'll win that all day. But he ain't gonna win it without gaining something from it. I guarantee that. He's gonna either have to have his personal pockets lined, or if he would do the right thing and play by good economics, he would make sure that the money that TikTok is making is pushed back through our system so that we can lower the inflation rate. That would be more useful.
I think President-elect Trump is worried about building his tower in Saudi Arabia. So,
wow, man.
So I think that's his concern right now.
Unpack that. That's the first I've heard it. I've never heard it stated like that. Unpack that a little bit. Tell me what.
Jared Kushner and MBS, the royal prince in Saudi Arabia, they're working together to build this gigantic apartment building in Saudi Arabia, which I know that won't ever get bombed.
Fact.
So it's interesting, which Muslims you want to get down with and which ones you say, nah, we ain't messing with you. It's interesting because I don't see Saudi Arabia or United Arab Emirates or any countries like that getting bombed no time soon.
Yeah, I can agree. I mean, hell, that's the very similar relationship that it's like China is an adversary, but we fucks with Taiwan.
I don't know. I mean, to me, China is just like America. So that's why I don't hold China responsible for its actions, because they are the America of the Far East, China. I think Japan is probably the one Asian country that does more with less than anyone else.
Man, Japan is freaking amazing. I'm gonna throw that out there.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have a whole lot of land mass, but they are efficient and creative. They don't steal really American ideas. They do their own thing. So, that's why I said, when TikTok came and China had this great idea about TikTok, they pulled it off. They were successful. They were so successful that America says, we don't want you here unless we own you. Well, that's, I think a lot of people don't know the history of China. Britain used to be in charge of China, and China had a bad drug issue many, many years ago. That wasn't their fault. It came from Britain. All them opium wars and all that. So when you look back and then you say, why is, Britain or America, why are they demonized by other countries? It's not really too hard to figure it out. Just look at the history.
It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I'm torn on this. Like, you really gonna give China a hard time because we're beating you at your own game?
Of course we'll give them a hard time about it. It's competitive in nature. It would have to be. Again, like this is a digital colonization. That's what it comes down to being. I want your land. And if you're not going to give it to me voluntarily, I'm going to take it. We war somehow.
If I was TikTok, ByteDance, if I'm that company, there's no way in hell I'm selling to an American investor. No, there's no way in hell I would do that.
I wouldn't.
Now, if I'm this Chinese company and the only thing I'm for is making money, and I can still make money off that American investor, maybe. But if my government tells me, oh no, you're not selling to no American, period, or you'll be leaving this country, and no matter where you go, we may have to contact our Russian friends to say hi to you.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because now what I want to do is two things, right? I want to something that I said last night in a meeting is I need to check and see whether or not Elon Musk is an actual citizen, because I don't know.
I think he's a U.S. citizen. Isn't he? Elon Musk, he has to be. Here, I'll look him up real quick. Wait a minute.
Okay.
Elon Musk. Let me see when he became a U.S. citizen here. Let's see.
Because didn't he come over here to go to college and his fired?
Oh, you know what? A friend of mine was telling me that. Let's see here. He was born in South Africa.
Apartheid, baby. That's why I don't believe in him like that. The people that work for him are smart as hell. I don't think he is though. But go ahead.
No, I think he's pretty smart. I'm trying to look to see real quick when did he come to America? Hold on. It's not telling me.
That's an issue to me.
Wait a minute. He was born, okay, because I'm looking fast. He moved to California. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He moved to California in 1995. Anybody on Facebook or in the chat can verify this. I'm at Wikipedia. He moved to California in 1995 to attend Stanford, but never enrolled. And then they started a company in 1999. Oh, this is weird.
When did he receive his citizenship?
Okay, he acquired citizenship through his Canadian-born mother. So he immigrated to Canada first.
Mm-hmm.
At the age of 18, he got citizenship. Then two years later, he went to college in Canada.
Got citizenship.
Then he transferred.
Yeah, he got a citizenship to Canada.
Yeah, that's what it's saying. And then he
Okay.
went to
all right.
He went to the University of Pennsylvania. So he later transferred to the University of Pennsylvania and received bachelor's degrees in economics and physics. No, this is a smart cookie. Economics and physics, double bachelor's. Then he was supposed to go to Stanford, and he didn't go, but he started a company with his brother. So it doesn't really tell you when he got his U.S. citizenship. I'm looking. It doesn't tell me.
I got 8 different browsers open right now. Otherwise, I'd look also, and that's for information for tomorrow. I don't want to.
Yeah, I don't see, where he got his U.S. citizenship, but I'm sure he has, because if he didn't have his U.S. citizenship, that his political enemies have been on his back a long time ago.
No, I mean, he bought a president.
Huh?
He bought his way into the presidency.
Well, ain't that the American way?
I disagree. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to fault him for using this money to get what he wants in America. I thought that was the American way. So, maybe this idea of TikTok, maybe, listen, maybe TikTok has gotten on the subway and was threatening people, talking about, we're going to use your information against you. And they were screaming, and the American government had to get in there and put a chokehold on them,
It's possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So maybe this is their chokehold, their legal chokehold. Now, I didn't know China needed a legal chokehold. I didn't know they were threatening my life. I'm just saying, So, it makes me wonder if we had gone over to China and done something like this, would they have put a chokehold on us, and then we would have said, "Okay, that's fine. Go on and chokehold me out, and then I'll know my place." I don't know. I don't have all the answers. Yes. Yes.
They wouldn't have allowed us. They wouldn't have allowed us to come like this.
Huh. Well, oh wait, so someone saw it on Wiki. He became a U.S. citizen in 2002. Okay, so I missed it.
Well, I'm looking at an AI overview, and it says Elon Musk was a U.S. citizen in 2002, 10 years after he first arrived in the country. Birthplace was born in Pretoria, whatever that is, South Africa. He upped Canadian citizenship. Arrived in the U.S.
Thank you.
Yeah. 92 to study at the University of Pennsylvania citizenship ceremony. Became a U.S. citizen in 2002 at a ceremony in Los Angeles County Fairgrounds. But I'm also reading something. It's a .org that says Musk made his way out of Silicon Valley, gained legal authorization to work in the United States. He has spoken of obtaining an H-1B visa, and with his brother soon started Zip2, which helped businesses gain a presence on the internet. Okay, then it goes on to say Musk became a U.S. citizen in 2002. So 2002.
And I think normally it takes up to 10 years to get your citizenship. Somebody was telling me that's like the max time.
I think it depends on how you do it. I think it depends on how you do it. Yeah, because I know there have been soldiers, brothers and sisters from Mexico or other places in the world that joined the military, and they obtained their citizenship through the military.
Okay.
So I think it depends on the route you take. So,
and I know it costs you some money too. So
yeah,
and I think that's why a lot of people from like Mexico and stuff, they don't have enough money to pay to get their citizenship right away. And then once they get here, they don't worry about really getting it. They just, keep going back and forth, or they stay across this border and send money back to their family. Not just in Mexico, but anywhere they come from. But I just think that the Chinese company ByteDance, they came up with a great idea, because remember, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, they were running it. And so TikTok came out of kind of nowhere. And before you knew it, it was on top of you. I said, well, that's just good business. How can you, if we're a capitalist structure, capitalist society, why are you mad at Mr. Wang Li or whoever the owners are of TikTok? Now, if his name had been, John Smith, he could be getting your information and selling it right to China.
Right. Absolutely.
That would have been perfectly fine. But you ain't letting the Chinese come over here and just run amok. You say, no, we ain't having that. Well, it takes something to know.
That part. And I think when it comes down to the average citizen, the money part aside, and simply being able to protect us and protect us from being vulnerable from different threats, outside threats, so on and so forth, I think there should be restrictions on it. I think we should take a stronger stance and look into the things that we allow TikTok to influence and impress on us. From a purely capitalistic side of it, yeah, it's they're beating America at its own game, and that's a hard pill to swallow. And they're not just doing it in America; they're beating America at its game globally. That TikTok platform is taking off faster, harder, stronger than both Facebook and Instagram. Hell, it rivals YouTube. One of the things that I have an issue with whenever I post my content on different platforms is having that TikTok imprint, that TikTok branding on my videos. That's when I see a slowdown. The algorithm will start skipping over my stuff. If I put that branding on YouTube, it'll slow it down dramatically. Well,
I don't have TikTok. And, maybe a part of me was reluctant to get it because I heard all these rumors about, China spying on us. But, I kind of said, well, is China spying on me any worse than the U.S. government spying on me? Oh, I don't know. And I keep saying, after 9/11 with the Patriot Act, they can come and search you on any given time saying that, we thought you were a terrorist. So we've lost a lot of our rights with the Patriot Act. And he said, well, for national security to protect our citizens, we have to pass the Patriot Act. But yet, here's the funny thing. So you pass the Patriot Act so you can come inside my house or tell me what to do anytime you want, but you can't secure your border. At a certain point, you have to, you have to formulate your lies. You need to work more with the
Yeah.
CIA to formulate your lies. I mean, at a certain point, you need better politicians or better preachers to tell your lies. At a certain point. And if you say,
Yeah.
well, we got enough news media out here, we can just put out misinformation. Okay, I respect that. But nobody, I don't care what party you belong to. I see you. I don't care what party you belong to. Nobody trusts information from outside their party, outside their favorite network. Nobody trusts anybody in America. So you can tell someone the truth and they'll say you're lying. You can give them all the facts, you're still lying.
Sure.
So like I said, I don't know if TikTok's my biggest enemy or not. I don't really know. I don't think nobody really knows.
I can absolutely understand it from that standpoint. I absolutely can. There is, especially in our culture, a huge distrust that we have with the United States government, and it's all earned. It didn't come just by doing what a lot of people do now and say, oh, well, no, that's fake news. No, they did perform the Tuskegee experiments, our government. They did put cancer cells or cancer causing agents in St. Louis in certain places, right? Our food. Yeah, our food. If you look at the type of food that they allow Americans to eat that are allowed through the FDA, no less. The experiments that have been done on our women, the social engineering that has been pushed out about us through our government outlets. Yeah, no, the government has earned a strong distrust from our culture.
Here's the funny thing. I watch a person on TV. I'll just say his name, Bill O'Reilly. Sometimes he's right. Sometimes he's right. And sometimes he tries to act like we're racist in the issue and this and that. But if you watch him closely enough, he'll always give a shout out to his Irish people. See, I watch. Mm-hmm. I watch like a hawk. So, I forgot what his take is on this TikTok ban. I think he's kind of like neutral. I can't remember what he said about this. But to me, this ban on TikTok, it does feel a little racial, a little bit. You're being beat at your own game, and now you want to, and that's the privilege. And that's why I said, me being a trans white man, I have that privilege.
There it is.
I have that benefit.
I've been waiting for you.
Yeah, I have that. I can change the rules during the middle of the game if I choose to. I really can. And if I need to have people go march on my behalf, I can do that. And I'm not responsible if they don't do it peacefully. I told them to go down there and march, but do it peacefully. I said that. And the people have validated what I've said because they reelected me. So with this TikTok situation, it is very interesting to see where President-elect Trump goes with this TikTok issue. Because like you said, if he can make some money.
That's my fault. Give me a second.
Oh, okay.
Fix this.
I can't take it. Laugh out loud.
Oh, okay. I guess I'm good. So,
this is a tough. This is one of the toughest conversations that I never wanted to talk about was TikTok, because I just don't know if the U.S. government is just jealous. I don't know. I mean, do I trust the Chinese? No, I don't. Do I trust them more than I trust Iran? Yes, I do trust them more than I trust Iran.
Yes. I can see what.
Yes. But do I think that China's my biggest enemy? No. Am I worried about them coming over and taking my job or coming over here and running America? No, not even close. No. So
funny. Since it's only the two of us, I guess we both got our final thoughts out. I should have played the music.
Play the music. Play the music.
All right, I'll play the music. I got to get. I'd love to keep going on and actually segue into another topic, because we could start talking about tomorrow night's topic.
What is
But
that?
So we're gonna be talking about Luigi Mangione.
Oh, you're not talking about Mr. Daniel Penny? Okay, that's okay. I'll get it in there
Okay.
because
I keep
promise
telling
you,
people,
huh?
with who? Which one?
Daniel Penny when he choked Jordan Neely on the subway.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes. I tell you,
Man,
write that down. Write that down, because me, you, and Deuce can come back to that next week, Tuesday, and
okay,
pick
that's
back
fine.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah, we can pick back up
I
on that
think-
next week.
and I thought you would talk about that tomorrow with your family because
Nah,
I
forget.
I don't like going against other military people. I don't, and I support the Marine Corps through and through.
Yeah,
But I really feel in my heart that Mr. Penny could have protected the people on that subway without putting his hands on Mr. Neely.
absolutely.
I believe
I
that's
think I can.
wrong.
I think I can
And
meet you there.
one of my favorite attorneys, Alan Dershowitz, was saying that it wasn't a racial situation and that black people had jumped on Jews in the Crown Heights in New York or whatever. And I don't like to disagree with Alan Dershowitz, but on this,
Yeah.
something doesn't feel right. If this man was making threats to people and you were a Marine, you could stand there, stand your ground, and say, "Hey, you can do all that talk that you want, but you're not going to touch these people." And why hasn't somebody called 911 right away? And when they were telling him, let him go, you got him subdued. You wouldn't let him
Just
go.
held him, knowing the type of chokehold he had him in too.
No, what kind of chokehold was that?
So it's in Marine Corps. They do max CP, right? That's how they fight. In the Army, we do hand to hand, or we do a form of mixed martial arts. So it's our version of MMA and their version of MMA.
Okay.
And so he knew that the chokehold that he had him in could cause either make him black out or kill him if held long enough.
Right.
Because it's a trained thing, and you're told the different time limits for specific chokeholds to have a person in before they're fully incapacitated or death occurs.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yes.
And I keep saying, if that had been a black man holding a white man who's mentally ill, holding him down like that, and that white man would have died, that black man's getting prosecuted. He's going to jail.
Yep.
When they say, well, no,
Yep.
it's not a racial issue. It's not like that. And I watch CNN. Of course, I know they would, be on behalf of the black man. But I watched Chris Cuomo. I watched the lawyers on Chris Cuomo and on Bill O'Reilly. And they said the facts are that there's not enough evidence Mr. Penny will get off. They were right. But I'm just saying, if that had been a black man doing that to a white man, would the facts remain the same, or would you have changed the facts? I don't know.
Oh, it would have shifted. If I put somebody in a rear naked choke and they go back in my history and see that I'm certified in combatives, right? Combatives level 1, and I can teach it and I can train in it. But then they also know that if I put somebody in a rear naked choke and I hold them there for something around 2 minutes or more, I can cause permanent brain injury or death, because it's a blood choke. You're literally stopping the blood flow. You're literally stopping it. There's
And I
no
wanna
way around it.
Yeah, and I want to be clear. We don't advocate vigilante justice. And so the New Yorker of the BLM in New York said, hey, we want to do some vigilante justice. We need to do what we got to do. I understand where he's coming from, but we don't advocate vigilante justice. The jury spoke. They said they had minorities on the jury. I only saw one black person on the jury. Unless I'm wrong, I only heard of one black person on that jury.
That's all it takes. Then that if one means some.
Okay. Great point.
What means?
But like I said, you always find out about people who talk the talk, but when you put them in that court on that jury, now you find out what they're really about. Because I can guarantee you, if I had been on that jury and watched all the evidence that they showed on TV, there's no way I'm finding him innocent. I'm sorry. Because he didn't have to put his hands on him. That's what I keep saying. If Jordan Neely had got on that subway with Tyrone and DeAndre and Little T, and he was talking a whole lot of stuff, Mr. Penny, would you have jumped in then? Or would you have played your cards and said, nah, I'll walk away from this situation? See, I'm sorry, but if somebody had came on that plane, Tyrone, with his gun in his side, and saw you choking this other black man, and he pulled his gun out, blowing your head off, he's going to jail for the rest of his life.
He's done.
That's the thing I think about when you involve yourself in a street situation. And I remember someone in your family dating a man years ago, and he said, "Watch your temper, brother," because we were arguing outside on the street in South St. Louis, on the South Side. And he said, "That cat that kept walking past us," he said, "That's my friend." I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, that's my friend. He was going to blow your brains out because he thought that you were trying to hurt me." And what happened eventually? What happened eventually? So, when these people jump in these, I'm a hero, Mr. Penny, and I saved people's lives. Okay. I hope that's really how it went down. I really hope that's really how it went down. Yeah. But they don't look right. It don't sound right. There's 3 of you and 1 of him. So it takes 3 of you to subdue this man? 3 of you?
Listen, we're bigger, faster, stronger.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
That even the least of us.
I tell you what.
That's why our boys are looked at as men.
If I'm Mr. Penny, I wouldn't be walking outside just lollygagging. I wouldn't. Not in New York. Not with them brothers. Because I think there are some brothers in New York who don't have nothing to live for, and they see you.
And then he just gave them a reason.
It's not right. It's not justified. I look at the situation. The only time I've really seen a situation where a white person has done something to a black person, it was so grotesque that white people had to say, "Hold on, this isn't right." And that was Jeffrey Dahmer years ago. He messed up so bad, killing those young black men. He was so grotesque in what he did. The white folks was like, put him in prison. And they turned and they put him in general population where they knew there was a black man waiting. Huh?
They were waiting on him. They were waiting on him.
And that's not, you send someone to prison for them to serve out the time for the crime they did, but you knew with this particular person, you put him in general population around other black folks, and you tell me how it's going to turn out. Come on now.
Right.
But they turned their back on him. They said, "Nope, we don't want that one."
Yep. Lock him up, put him in there, and let him serve out his justice. But that was a good topic. That was a great conversation. Next week let's come back around and talk about that topic, me, you, and Deuce, and see where we can get on that, because I am in agreement with you when it comes to supporting our vets. Right? It's hard for me to turn my back on a vet, to a person that served their country, regardless of what they look like. It's hard for me. Now, there are some that I have to just write off because I know who they are. But generally speaking, generally speaking, when it comes to vets, I'm supporting the vet. I'm on the side of the vet. This situation, I can't be that.
I just, when he walked down the street going into his trial every day, there was something about his energy that didn't sit with me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he was just trying to, act tough, so he didn't show how scared he was. I get that.
That's
But
a foolish act.
Huh?
That's a foolish act.
I just look. We know how tough Marines are.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, would you have done that to a white guy the same way you did to a black guy? I don't know. I know a lot of times when I do these podcasts with you, some of your family may say, "Hey, Richard kind of funny on his answers." But I always tell people, I do it case by case. I think in some cases we could have saved ourselves, but in other cases, no, we were a victim of racism. So I look at it, case by case. And in this particular case, for what they showed me on TV, you did not have to put your hands on that man. I mean, if you were really about that business, you could have stood by those people in that subway and said, "You come talking that stuff, I'm gonna lay you out."
Touch somebody to
Yeah.
show you.
You could just popped them. Now back up. But you didn't want to do that. You wanted to grab him. And I know a lot of white guys like to wrestle. Okay, that's fine. But you choked him out. And, I think about the UFC, all that craziness. And I've always said, when you take your very best and then send one of our very best to you, we're going to really find out what you're about. And normally, not always, but normally you find out what we're really about.
Yeah.
And so I feel like Mr. Penny took advantage of this man. He knew he could choke him out and get away with it.
Yeah, that guy wasn't a real threat. But we'll definitely come back and talk about this Tuesday. Definitely. So with that being said, hey, everybody that hung out with us I'm on 5 different platforms right now, and I absolutely appreciate it. We appreciate y'all. Thank you for hanging out with us. And as always, thank you for coming out. God bless and good
Tomorrow
night.
Night at 6.
For you, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night at 6. Okay, sounds good. You have to send me the link.
Gotcha.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, bro. Good night. I'll talk to y'all later. We'll see y'all later.
Good night.